on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATM.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human trafficker.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
Good day, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Government and Public Service Reports here on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. News, events, and stories abound in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased, and factual reportage is the driving principle for this program in order to bring government activities to the doorstep of the people. Let's go through the highlights of today's report. In Rivers State, Senate President assures of the completion of East-West Road project. Delta State Army vows to eliminate crude oil theft. On Saturday's by-elections, IGP orders movement restrictions in 26 states. Politics, INEC chairman asks to obey court judgment. We take a very short break, and when we return, we'll go straight to the details. Please stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATM.
Back. Let's go direct to the details. President of the Senate, Govt Akpabio, says the upper chamber will ensure Ogoni people enjoy peaceful coexistence among oil-producing communities as plans are underway to complete the East-West Road project. Akpabio disclosed this when he received His Royal Majesty Mene Dr. Swanu Timothy Yomadam Baridam Benemene Kasi Mene Banga 7th of Ogoniland and the acting president of the Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers in Rivers State in his office. A statement by the Special Assistant on Media, Jackson Udom, quoted the Senate President as thanking the Ogoni leader for the continued peace in the Niger Delta region, adding that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's led administration is committed to completion of the East-West Road project, and the 10th Senate and the National Assembly is ready to do everything within its powers to support the completion of the road. Rivers State Police Command, in an effort to keep its personnel up to date with the advanced policing techniques, organized 3 weeks training and retraining on tactical combat formation, crowd control, advance and splitting drill for them. The State Commissioner of Police, CP Olatunji Disu, visited officers to round up the program. Speaking to the press at Isaac Borough Park, the training center, CP Disu said the training program aims to refresh and familiarize police officers with the advanced techniques used to disperse violent rioters and crowd control. Stated further that another importance of keeping police personnel up to date with advanced policing techniques is to help them attain the goal of achieving professionalism. In view of the decision of Port Harcourt Division of the Rivers State High Court, which granted an ex parte order restraining the Nigerian Police Force and other security agencies from arresting, detaining, and/or harassing Edison here, stakeholders have been reacting to the development. This is coming following an order which was granted following a motion ex parte filed by the Chief of Staff to the governor, had sought to stop the police from arresting him over his alleged involvement in the burning of the hallowed chambers of the River State House of Assembly last year. Speaking on the development on Atlantic Television Blowout, the political development expert Ernest Douglas expressed dissatisfaction on the yet-to-be-resolved political feud in the state, maintaining that the chaos, if not duly tackled by the current administration, will cost a lot to the performance and delivery of the benefits of the governance to the people.
You could see that this is politically motivated, and we thought that having had that skewed agreement, with the president, and haven't seen the governor demonstrating peaceful disposition in honoring some of the agreements, that there would have been some kind of, a slowdown on these distractions that we're having. It's such a huge disappointment that as of today, we are no longer interested in governance and giving the dividends of democracy to the citizens and residents of River State. Rather, we are still talking about few individuals who are very greedy, very selfish, and have refused to allow the state to move on and give dividends of democracy. Edison here has withdrawn his cases against Amewule, and the rest of them. And I don't see why they cannot also reciprocate by allowing peace to reign. The state needs a direction. We are talking about massive unemployed youths. We are talking about institutions, that students are asking for bursaries and all that. We are talking about revamping back our industries. These are the challenges other states are moving on into. And here, we are still revolving between the former governor and his co-conspirators who don't want to allow the states to move forward. They are very insignificant compared to the almost 6 million Rivers people that are yearning for good governance and, a redirection from these distractions that we keep getting on a daily basis. Well, the courts are there. They will go to Abuja to bring the judgment. We will, from River State, bring our own judgment as well to counter it.
Brigade of Nigerian Army in Delta State, Brigadier General Salisu Aliyu has vowed to eliminate crude oil theft and other criminal vices in Delta State. Aliyu stated this while inaugurating the projects executed by the commanding officer, 101 Amphibious Battalion, Abor, Lieutenant Colonel A.N. Abubakar in Ika Northeast Local Government Area of Delta State. He further encouraged the troops to give them the best, even with a view to eliminating crude oil thieves and other hoodlums, knowing that the home front. Edo State Police Command said it has arrested four suspected kidnappers in Kano after collecting ransom from their victims in the state. Command spokesperson SP Chidi Nwabuzo said that the suspect was arrested by the Anti-Kidnapping and Cybercrime Unit of the command while investigating a case of kidnapping, adding that the police received a report of the kidnap of 4 persons at Fuga, Edo State on January 28th and the alleged collection of ransom by the kidnappers through Union Bank and Money Points, respectively. Mabuzo said that the police, using intelligence-based investigation arrested Aminu Sadio and Umar Aminu, as well as the owner of the 2 accounts that received the ransom. The police also arrested Adamu Abubakar and Adamu Tahiru, who are accomplices in the kidnapping case. Mabuzo said the investigation had commenced and that suspects would soon be charged to court. In view of the cases of security violations and breach of peace in Akwa Ibom State, Governor Umar Eno has alleged that some persons in the state sponsor the criminals to unleash mayhem and upturn the existing peace in the state. Uno, who did not mention the names of the alleged sponsors, said the assertion was in the wake of credible intelligence. A statement by the governor's chief press secretary, Ekerete Udo, said Governor Eno made the comments at an event for the service commanders and the Akwa Ibom sons promoted to the high ranks in the various services of the Nigerian Armed Forces. The governor said his administration is drawing up a new security architecture in the state and pledging its determination to ensure the safety of people in their respective remarks. In their separate remarks, the outgoing Commissioner of Police, AIG Olatoye Durosimi, outgoing Commander of 2 Brigade, Major General Ken Chibo, and one of the newly promoted sons of Akwa Ibom State, Rear Admiral E. Ebe, appreciated the governor and the state for the gesture of appreciation and assured them it will motivate them in the more for the state and the nation in general. Imo State Police Command has set up an investigation team following Wednesday's pipeline explosion which killed 5 persons at Obiti community in the Onhaji-Egbema local government area of the state. The command spokesperson, Henry Okoye, disclosed that the State Commissioner of Police, Aboki Danjuma, had launched a probe into the incidents which claimed the lives of 5 vandals in the community. They said that the essence of the probe was to arrest the situation and stop further economic sabotage of the state. It was gathered that some vandals had gotten into the rubber estate in Obiti community and attempted to tamper with the crude oil by digging through a pipeline in the community. In an attempt to steal the crude oil, the pipeline caught fire and killed 5 persons. In 2022, an explosion occurred at the illegal refinery at Obokofia, Egbema, killing no fewer than 100 persons. The stage is now set for tomorrow's by-election into the Senate, House of Representatives, and House of Assembly seats across 26 states. Already sensitive materials have been distributed to the affected polling districts and constituencies by the Independent National Electoral Commission. However, the Commission said that the People's Democratic Party will not participate in the election in Plateau North Senatorial District and Jos North Bassa Federal Constituency based on the judgment of the Court of Appeal. The court had nullified the victory of PDP House of Assembly members in the state following the party's failure to conduct its congresses according to the laid-down rules. Also in Ebonyi State, a high court in Abakaliki nullified the candidacy of Silas Onu being fielded by the PDP. Apart from Plateau and Ebonyi states where the rerun will hold are Yobe, Kebbi, Lagos, Ondo, Taraba, Benue, Borno, Kaduna, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, and Cross Rivers. Others are Delta, Enugu, Jigawa, Katsina, Adamawa, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Kano, Nasarawa, Niger, Oyo, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. The seats became vacant following the appointment of the senators and the House of Representative members as ministers by President Bola Tinubu.
Fires that happened, I know there's one that's always remembered in the UK, the Hillsborough fire incident. You know, these were fire incidents that happened in public spaces where a lot of people sit down. And one thing I noticed that they have done in their own world is that they've learnt a lot from the fire incident, and they've provided situations where those kind of incidents cannot occur anymore. these are by standards and regulations when you're putting up such edifice that you house a lot of people. Now, I thank the fact that he's saying thank God is very important. I know Nigerians, we always say thank God in everything. Let's look at it from as smart people, as humans living on this earth. I think that kind of auditorium needed to have a fire protection system that was quite efficient, that had an early warning. Some people use the sprinkler system. Some people, there are different kinds of fire protection system. And that way, you can actually isolate a fire from where it starts. Not like you might not have a fire, but if you have a fire in a certain place, it doesn't go beyond that place. You can, because of your protection system and all that.
He also tasked the Urban Development Agency to ensure the standards are put as priority before signing out on massive building projects.
About auditoriums like that, when you're at the design stage, it's important that you have a fire engineer that helps you look at the design and says, okay, what's your fire protection system? Because you're housing a lot of people. And imagine that this fire it burnt the whole auditorium, but everybody was able to get out. But imagine that it was a different scenario altogether. We would have had a lot of casualties.
However, we thank God it wasn't.
Yes, and part of the casualty might not even be as a result of the fire. It might be as a result of the stampede, as a result of that number of people that are gathered in that auditorium. So it's very important that basically, because I know that churches have massive auditoriums, some are building new cathedrals, that they look at this and learn.
They learn from this.
Yes, and say, okay, I think I have to add this. We have to look at this. What's our fire protection system? What's our design for this? And you know, a lot of things we don't do in Nigeria. Like, people don't know that when you build big markets, you can have fire drills and emergency drills for markets, so that people understand what to do. Basically, when you ask most Nigerians, what do you do during an emergency?
Ayobami Salami, who disclosed this, said the commission was fully prepared for the election, adding that the commission had invited representatives of political parties and security agencies to witness the exercise for openness, and the sensitive materials are secure and intact for every stakeholder to see the transparency of the commission. He also said that the onward distribution of the materials from the state's headquarters to the 6 wards and 253 polling units that make up the Surulere Federal Constituency 1 will begin on Friday, while 12 candidates of different political parties will be contesting in the February 3 election. This is coming after the seat became vacant due to the resignation of the former occupant, Femi Gbajabiamila, who, after winning, was appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as Chief of Staff. About 23 schools in the Atiba, Afijo, Oyo East and Oyo West local government areas of Oyo State that were shut 10 years ago have been reopened by the state government. State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Dotun Oyelade, who disclosed this in a statement, said the schools were reopened following a resolution of the boundary disputes between the communities. He said the age-long dispute was resolved at a stakeholders meeting held at the Western Hall in Ibadan and was presided over by the Deputy Governor, Bayo Lawal, who doubles as the chairman of the state's Boundary Disputes Committee. Lawal appealed to all stakeholders in the affected communities to embrace peace, while warning that the government will not tolerate any act that might breach the peace of the communities, and also enjoined the lawmakers representing the affected communities to work with the traditional rulers and necessary stakeholders for a lasting solution to the dispute. Former Deputy Clerk of the National Assembly, Dr. Olaide Adelami, has been sworn in as the Ondo State Deputy Governor. This is coming after Adelami was picked by the state governor, Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, as the deputy governor, after which his name was sent to the State House of Assembly for screening and ratification. At a ceremony held at the International Cultural and Event Center, Akure, he said that the new deputy governor was sworn in by the chief judge of the state, Justice Olusegun Odusola. Speaking at the inauguration, Governor Ayedatiwa urged the new deputy governor to play the game according to the rules while in office and to shun all acts of corrupt practices and serve the state diligently and patriotically. In his acceptance speech, Adelami, who commended the governor and other stakeholders for appointing him to be in this position, promised to join hands with the governor to move the state forward and sustain the legacy of late former governor Rotimi Akeredolu. Independent National Electoral Commission says 5 political parties will contest the Yobe East senatorial by-election in Yobe State. The resident electoral commissioner for Yobe State, Alhaji Ibrahim Abdullahi, who disclosed this on the commission's level of preparedness for the February 3rd, 2024 by-elections and rerun elections for Yobe East and Fika Fune federal constituencies, said that the participating political parties in the upcoming by-election are African Democratic Congress, All Progressive Congress, All Progressive Grand Alliance, New Nigeria People's Party, and the People's Democratic Party. He also said campaigns by the parties are ongoing and, as mandated by law, must cease 24 hours before the election day, which is February 1st, 2024, while the electoral activities are planned across 8 local government areas, 75 registration areas, and 993 polling units that constitute the Yobe East senatorial constituency, plus 1 in Fika town. He also said a total of 4,232 ad hoc staff have been earmarked for deployment, and 1,339 bimodal voter accreditation system machines will be used for accreditation. Minister for Environment, Malam Balarabe Lawal, said the federal government will procure more arms for effective operations of the National Park Service. The minister, who disclosed this when he paid an official visit to the headquarters of the NPS and the National Biosafety Management Agency in Abuja, said President Bola Tinubu was very concerned about the operators of the parks because of the spate of insecurity in the country. The minister said there is an ongoing collaboration with relevant agencies to clean the forests of bandits and illegal miners and the coastal areas where oil thefts take place, adding that the National Park Service is statutorily responsible for the preservation, enhancement, and protection of wild animals, plants, and other vegetation in national parks and matters connected therewith. The minister charged the National Biosafety Management Agency to be more proactive in its approaches and to engage more in research to curb the inflow of unwanted, and commended the 2 agencies for their efforts and urged them to do more to keep up with their mandates. Bauchi Police Command has imposed restrictions on movement for the Saturday, February 2024 rerun elections to be held in 3 local government areas of the state. The restriction of movement is from midnight of Friday to 6 p.m. of Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. The command equally barred very important persons, VIPs, and politicians from going to the polling unit with their security details on election day. Only individuals engaged in essential services, such as the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC staff, ambulance crew, firefighters, and authorized election observers with valid identification are permitted at the election venue. State Commissioner of Police CP Awal Mohammed made the announcement in a statement made available to journalists in Bauchi on Friday by the spokesperson of the command. The Superintendent of Police SP Ahmad Wakil CP also warned that the unauthorized use of sirens, revolving lights, covered plate numbers, and limited and tinted glasses are still in force, and violators will be sanctioned appropriately. Police Command in Kaduna State says its operative arrested 8 persons suspected to be highway robbers on the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway. Its public relations officer, Mansur Hassan, in a statement, said that the operatives from Tollgate Divisional Headquarters, while on patrol along Kaduna-Abuja Expressway on January 27th, arrested 7 suspects while gearing up to operate. Hassan said that the suspects will be arraigned when investigation is completed. The officer quoted the Commissioner of Police, Audu Ali, as commending the operatives for the arrest while tasking them to rid the state of all criminal elements. You're still watching Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network here in the city of Port Harcourt. We'll be back after this break. Please stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human trafficker.
Honorable They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
on Atlantic Television Network here in the city of Port Harcourt. Now to the rest of our stories. Ahead of Saturday's runoff elections fixed to take place across 26 states in the country, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Dr. Kayode Adeolu Egbetokun, has ordered the restriction of all forms of vehicular movement on roads, waterways, and other forms of transportation from 12 a.m. to 6 p.m. on election day in all states where the elections will be holding, with the exception of those on essential services. A statement in Abuja by the First Public Relations Officer, Assistant Commissioner of Police, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, said those exempted from the order are officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission, electoral observers, accredited media and observers, both foreign and domestic, ambulances responding to medical emergencies, and firefighters, amongst others, while the affected states include Ebonyi, Yobe, Kebbi, Lagos, Ondo, Taraba, Benue, Borno, Kaduna, Plateau, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Cross Rivers, Delta, Enugu, Jigawa, Katsina, Adamawa, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Kano, Nasarawa, Niger, Oyo, Sokoto, and Zamfara states. Statement also said the IGP also ordered a ban on all security aides of VIPs and escorts from accompanying their principals and politicians to polling units and booths and collation centers during the election, while state established and owned security outfits and organizations, quasi-security units, privately owned security outfits were barred from participating in election security management. The statement pointed out that the movement restrictions, including the ban on VIP aides, escorts, and state security outfits, were crucial measures aimed at preventing any undue interference or intimidation during the electoral processes, adding that the restrictions were being implemented to safeguard the integrity of the elections and guarantee equal participation of all citizens of the affected states. The IGP urges political parties and candidates and their supporters to conduct themselves responsibly and in accordance with the electoral laws, as any attempt to disrupt the electoral processes or violate the established guidelines will be met with full force of the law. He expressed confidence that through collective efforts, the upcoming runoff and by-elections will be conducted peacefully, transparently, and in line with the principles of democracy. Coalition of civil society organizations led by Center for Credible Leadership and Citizen Awareness has called on INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu to obey court orders, the court judgment which clearly stated Chief Ndoze Njuku is the national chairman of APGA. The Director General of the group, Dr. Wanihu Gabriel, said that the FCT High Court has found INEC boss guilty of contempt of court on November 9, 2023, because he did not obey the rule of law.
We call on Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to obey the judgment of the FCT High Court Buhari Division, which clearly stated that Chief Edozie Njoku is the national chairman of APGA. Today, perhaps, the most worrisome issue in Nigeria is the glaring evidence arising from the judgment of the FCT High Court Buhari Division, which found Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the chairman of INEC, guilty of contempt of court. Evidently, on November 9th, 2023, the court pronounced its judgment thus: it is well established in legal jurisprudence that court orders must be obeyed and respected. Parties to litigation are duty-bound to adhere to the directives of the court. Disobedience of court order undermines the sanctity of the judiciary and the rule of law. The first respondent, that is Victor Ikeoye, and the second respondent, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, the chairman of INEC, have committed contempt by disobeying the subsisting order of this court made on the 11th of May 2023, and I so hold. We call on Professor Mahmoud.
Gabriel further read out the court judgment that INEC chairman had disobeyed as stated by Honorable Justice W.A. Madugu.
Furthermore, Honorable Justice M.A. Madugu stated, having established the disobedience of the first respondent and second respondent to the order of this court made on the 10th of May 2023, since the purpose of committal proceedings is to ensure that the order of the court are upheld and respected, I hereby adopt a lenient view and order that the first and second respondents should purge themselves of contempt within 14 days. Effective from today, that is the 9th day of November 2023. He further said that the case is hereby adjourned to the 9th of November 2023 to enable the respondents purge themselves of the contempt or face the wrath of the law. However, our concern as civil society organizations is, why did Professor Mahmoud explore the 14 days? Why didn't Professor Mahmoud explore the 14 days window offered to him by the court to purge himself of the contempt of court? It doesn't matter whom the law favors. Therefore, beneficiaries of any court judgment should be protected by the law and supported to enjoy the
Called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Attorney General of the Federation of Nigeria and the Minister of Justice, to intervene and prevail on Professor Mahmood to obey the rule of law.
We call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the highest beneficiary of court judgment in Nigeria as it stands today, that he is duty-bound to stop this impunity. Just imagine what would have become of Nigeria if the court judgment of the Supreme Court affirming him as the president and commander-in-chief was flouted and was not obeyed. We also call on Chief Lateef Fagbemi SAN, the Attorney General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Minister of Justice, as the Chief Law Officer to intervene and prevail on Professor Yakubu Mahmood to recognize Chief Edozie
surrounding the prolific oil block in the next 1 month. The Malabu OPL 245 deal and subsequent litigations with the Nigerian government is a complex and long-standing saga involving allegations of corruption, fraud, and legal battles. The oil block in question, OPL 245, is considered one of Nigeria's most prolific oil blocks, while in 1996, Malabu Oil and Gas, a company with links to the former Nigerian Minister of Petroleum, Dan Etete, acquired the block for $52 million. The federal government says that the Port Harcourt refining company was still being test-run and refined petroleum products from the plant will hit the market soon. This is coming after oil marketers expressed worry that the recent crash of the Naira against the United States dollars might lead to a hike in the pump prices of refined petroleum products, and specifically wondered how the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited would continue to supply premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, at the current cost, considering the fact that $1 now equals 1,450 Naira. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Heineken Lokpobiri, who disclosed this in Abuja, said that the plant was still being test-run, adding that on December 21, 2023, the federal government spoke on the mechanical completion of rehabilitation work on Area 5 plant of the Port Harcourt Refining Company in Rivers State. He commended the NNPC for being able to provide PMS, adding that the rise in dollar is affecting every community in Nigeria and PMS might not be an exception anytime soon. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says mechanical completion of the Warri Refining and Petrochemical Company is scheduled for completion in the first quarter of this year. The Warri Refining Petroleum Company, located in Warri Delta State and established in 1973, is one of Nigeria's 3 refineries under the management of NNPCL. The other 2 include the Port Harcourt Refining Company in Rivers State and the Kaduna Refining and Petrochemical Company in Kaduna State. Rehabilitation work is also ongoing on both facilities. The Warri Refinery is a complex conversion refinery with a capacity to refine 125,000 barrels of crude oil per day. The facility includes a petrochemical plant established in 1988, producing polypropylene and carbon black. It supplies petroleum products to southern and southwestern Nigeria, but it is not producing refined products currently due to the rehabilitation of the facility by the federal government. However, in a brief response to an inquiry with regards to when the plant will be mechanically completed, the Chief Corporate Communications Officer, NNPCL, Olufemi Soreye, stated that the target was to have it sorted out in the first quarter of this year. Recall that the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokpobiri, had stated on Wednesday that the Warri Refinery was still being worked on. And this is where we wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. But please stay connected with us on our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV Net, and watch us live on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Raymond Ken Mbata.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries.